guys, and welcome back to my channel. It has been the longest time since my last video. I can't remember how many weeks I was. Was I 37? Or was I more than that? I can't remember. But today's video is a very exciting one. It is my birth story. It has taken me literally 4 weeks. My little girl is 4 weeks tomorrow, which is actually crazy to me. Let me just adjust my camera a tiny bit. Yeah, which is actually crazy to me that she is 4 weeks old already tomorrow. It's just madness how quick the newborn stage goes. But yeah, it's taken me a long time. I'm not gonna lie to you, when they say being a mother of two is hard, it definitely is. It's quite a challenge, I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting around to filming it today. My little girl is quickly asleep downstairs, so I thought I would start it. She probably will wake up and she probably will appear in this video, but for now I thought I would just crack on. I'm trying to not make this a super long video because I could ramble on for ages. I'll try to remember everything as much as I can. This is why I wanted to do it as soon as possible, really, because you just start to forget like little details and stuff. But I'm gonna go right to the beginning before I even went into labour and stuff, and yeah, it was a very different experience, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, let's dive straight in to the video. I'm very excited to film this actually, because it's nice to talk about it and sort of relive it almost. So let's just get straight into the video. And yeah, going back obviously to before I went into labour, my due date was the 2nd of December. So I'll start from Monday the 4th of December. I was booked in for stretch and sweep, and it was you know, just a normal midwife appointment and stuff. So obviously I had one at 39 weeks. I think I was like 38 plus 6, and then I was 40 plus 2 when I went for this particular midwife appointment, like I said, on the 4th of December, a Monday, and I was booked in for stretch and sweep and everything, but it wasn't until the afternoon, which was quite annoying because you're waiting around all day and you're anticipating. I did have a stretch and sweep with my first child. If you're new here, this is not my first rodeo. This is my second child. I've already got a little boy, which is nearly 3 in March, which makes me really sad. I had a stretch and sweep with him, but they said they couldn't perform it. However, I did go into labour anyway. Go see my previous birth story to sort of catch up on how that experience was, because it was very different. And can I just add as well, this is going to be really all over the place, by the way. I never expected to go overdue or anything like that. I think this pregnancy was just so different. I was just expecting to go into labour earlier, but I wasn't at the same time, because I already have a toddler. I wasn't overly annoyed about going overdue either. It was a really strange feeling. But I went to this midwife appointment. It was, I think, 10 to 4. It was around about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, she tried to do the stretch and sweep. She did manage to go around ahead like once, sort of thing, she said, but I had to tell her to stop because it was just very painful for me. This pregnancy I've had a lot of sort of pelvic and sort of down there pressure and stuff throughout the whole pregnancy, so it was very uncomfortable and just not nice that particular day for some reason. So she managed to do it. She said she managed to get around the head. Her head was really low, which I feel like she's always been very low anyway. I think that's why I've always had this pelvic pain and stuff. She managed to do it, and yeah, she said if this doesn't work within like 48 hours or whatever, then come to another stretch and sweep. If you know you get offered it, sort of thing. You don't have to obviously have it, but then you'll come for a stretch and sweep on Friday, December the 8th. Yeah, 8th of December. And yeah, I was thinking I'm not going to get to this appointment. Even like the midwife was like, I don't think you're going to really go to that appointment, but it's there and it's booked. And then obviously we discussed induction and stuff. So stretch and sweep was booked for Friday the 8th, and then we had booked my induction for the Saturday morning if nothing worked. So anyway, as soon as I had that stretch and sweep on Monday, came home, me and my husband went for a walk around and stuff because that works for my little boy. So I was trying to sort of, you know, redo that whole experience, and nothing happened. I felt a bit uncomfortable after the stretch and sweep, but nothing, like no cramping, no, you know, no signs of labour basically. So I thought this is not going to work. It didn't work. We got to Friday. It was luckily booked for, I think, around 11 o'clock. My midwife rang me to come in a bit earlier, so I was like, yeah, perfect. So I went down, managed to let her do the stretch and sweep for about good like 45 minutes, which seems like eternity, believe me. And it seemed a bit more manageable on the Friday. So yeah, so that happened. And then obviously we discussed about the following day, what would happen if nothing happened on the Friday. So I'd have to go in for 7 o'clock on Saturday for the induction, and I would be given the pessary. So yeah, came home from the stretch and sweep, nothing, no signs or anything. At this point I'm 6 days overdue. I was only 5 days overdue with my little boy, and I was just like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is so different. So yeah, pretty much continued my evening as normal on the Friday, got all our bags ready and everything for the Saturday. So woke up on the Saturday, I had to be there for 7 o'clock. It was a horrible day. It was like torrential rain, like real horrible. So we arrived at the hospital, and they like to monitor the baby and stuff for a little while, just make sure everything's okay. They checked to see how dilated I was, and just to say, on the Monday, when I had the stretch and sweep, I was about 2 centimetres dilated, but my cervix was really far back, and it was the same on the Friday. And then when she checked me again on the Saturday, it was exactly the same. Nothing had really moved, which was really disappointing after 2 stretch and sweeps. But anyhow, we was being monitored for a bit. I think the whole thing we was there for about 2 hours. It came out about 9 o'clock-ish. My experience with the pessary wasn't nice, I'm not gonna lie, and please don't let this put you off your birth if you have a pessary or anything. Everyone's body is different, everyone's pain tolerance is different, everyone's, you know, body and everything is completely different. And for me, I think because of my pelvic pain and everything being quite like swollen and stuff down there, and the pressure was just very uncomfortable for me. In fact, it brought me to tears, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, it wasn't the best of experiences, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, so she fit the pessary, and just to add, I was allowed to have an outpatient induction, which means I could go home after they gave me what I needed to have. I could just go home and, you know, labour at home sort of thing. So I got given that. I went home, we actually popped to the Asda and stuff. I was walking around, and just to add, when I had the pessary put in, you monitored again for another sort of half an hour, 45 minutes or whatever, and I started getting tightenings like when I was laid on the bed pretty quickly after it was you know, put in, sort of thing. and I was like, oh my god, is this actually happening right now? And she was like, that's fine, it's a good sign. And she was like, oh, you can go home now. I'm like, do I really want to be going home if I'm getting tightenings now? But I was like, fair enough. So I put my adult nappy on, which my husband took a picture in just for like memories and stuff. And yeah, we were sent home basically. She said to ring up at 3 o'clock whether, you know, anything's worked or not, just to, you know, have a bit of an update on everything. So I was like, yeah, fair enough. So we went home, like I said, went round house doing stuff, and it kind of wore off, like the tightenings and stuff, nothing happened, which, you know, you get told to like walk around and stuff and be really active, and it just didn't work for me. It really just didn't work. So I came home anyway. That particular morning we was up from like 3:30 with my little boy, so I was really tired, and I thought either way, whether this happens tonight, tomorrow, Monday, whatever, I really need some rest because I'm really tired right now. So got to about 1:30ish, I think, and I decided to come upstairs and have a sleep. And luckily I had about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I woke up around 3 o'clock just after, and I thought I'm gonna have to ring triage just to give them an update. So at this point, when I was asleep, I could feel sort of dull tightenings, dull pain, but nothing that woke me up out my sleep or anything. I could just feel it subconsciously. So anyway, I rang them up. I said, look, nothing's happening. You know, do I come in again tomorrow at 7? She said, yeah, if nothing happens tonight or anything, come in again at 7 and we'll have to try different methods and stuff, and then you'll stay in hospital while we're doing different things. So I was like, fair enough. She said, if anything does happen though, just come up and we'll give you a check and stuff, see what's happening. So anyway, I came off the phone to triage, and I was just still laid upstairs. I thought I'm just gonna chill up here a bit. And yeah, I began with tightenings again, which is really strange. Literally within half an hour of coming off the phone to this midwife, I literally start going into labour. So between that time of about 3:30, 4 to, I think it was, I rang them again at 6:30, just before 6:30, I think. Things developed pretty quickly, and it was very, you know, continuous. They were very all over the place, my contractions at first, because I started doing them on the app, and there was really all over the place. So I was really confused by it, because with my first, they were pretty quick and very consistent, like every 2 minutes or whatever. But with this one, it was quite all over, so I wasn't too sure whether it was early days or not. So anyway, I rang them back up when I was getting into a lot more pain around 6:30ish in the evening, and I said, you know, these are coming pretty quick now, and you know, from the last time I spoke to you on the phone, everything's just happened very quickly. So she said, right, she said, yeah, come up, and you know, we'll have a look, you know, we might have to take the pessary out or whatever, and we'll see, you know, what's happening. So I was still having contractions in the car. Like I said, it was the worst weather. This is all I can remember. It was the worst weather ever. It was so dark, it was raining, it was like stormy, it was terrible. But yeah, so we got to the hospital, I went to triage, and this part for me was quite frustrating. In the hospital, because I knew this was very different compared to my first and how contractions feel and everything like that. So to be a second time mum and I've already experienced contractions and labour and everything, the first time it was a bit frustrating when I was trying to tell them what's happening with my body and stuff. And basically I was laid there, she took the pessary out, which was very, very uncomfortable. And I was on gas and air in the end, actually, I think, for her to take it out. And then she was trying to examine me and I was still on gas and air and it was very uncomfortable. Can I also add here as well, the pessary, like I said, I was already quite like swollen and there was a lot of pressure down there beforehand, but the pessary made it a lot worse. I think when I spoke to triage on the phone, they said it can like really dry down there and everything, which just makes it really irritated. So yeah, which just made it very, very uncomfortable. And in the end, basically, I couldn't be examined because I was just refusing anybody to examine me because it was unbearable. Meanwhile, I'm on this gas and air, I'm like laughing and stuff at first, and then that very, very quickly went away, the laughing. And these were just coming very quick. I remember just saying to my husband, these are coming too quickly now. And then all of a sudden, this is like the funniest part, all of a sudden I'm literally like pushing without thinking about it. My body is literally pushing, and my husband is like looking round and he presses this emergency button behind me and midwives come in. I'm like pushing and stuff, and because I'm still like out of it in my head, all I remember is being wheeled down on this bed to the labour ward. Normally you would just literally walk down. Even when I was 7 centimetres with my little boy, I would literally walk down to the labour ward. But this time was very different. Everything was happening very quickly. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know the time frames of when I went down to the labour ward or anything like that because I was out of it. I didn't look at my phone. I didn't know what day it was or anything. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I'm wheeled down to the labour ward unknowingly, and there's midwives being really like flustery and stuff around me, like very panicky almost, because I think everything was just happening so quickly. And yeah, I had some really lovely midwives that was really supportive and stuff. And I'm in this room and it was a really big labour room, I'm not gonna lie. There was a massive tub and stuff that I realised when I eventually came round. It was just a very big room. Anyway, so I'm still pushing and stuff. She's asking me all these questions, you want skin to skin? And I'm like, I can hear, like, it was like an out of body experience. I can hear them getting things ready on like the bed bit where they put the baby and stuff after they're born and they get weighed and stuff. They're getting all that ready really quickly, and I'm like, whoa, let's just pause here. I wanted an epidural. I'm just thinking in my head, how can I push a baby out without an epidural? I don't know. So I'm there in this labour room and I'm like going into different positions, and I literally didn't do any of this the first time around. I had an epidural. I was literally pinned down to the bed for I don't even know how many hours. This time I was like standing up, I was, you know, bending over, and yeah, it was a game of Twister basically. And I was just pushing constantly. These contractions was coming like every minute. There was no break at all, and I was so exhausted. I think in the end it was like 2 hours of like pushing or whatever. But yeah, towards the back end of this pushing and stuff, Obviously no one knew how many centimetres or anything I was. Everyone knew, obviously I was on an outpatient induction, I've come back in and stuff, labouring and pushing, but nobody obviously knew how much I'd progressed or anything, which was a bit hard for them, I think. But I was getting very stressed and very frustrated and stuff. I was just using gas and air, and I was quite adamant that I wanted help towards the end, and I kept saying I need help, I need a doctor, I need some kind of relief here because this is just getting very intense very quickly. So yeah, basically from then, it's hard to try and remember when you've been on gas and air. If you've had gas and air before, you'll understand, but it's hard to know exactly what was happening because it is just such like an out of body experience that you can hear all these voices and stuff. I've got midwives saying you can do it, I'm like, I cannot do it. They're like, yeah, you can do it, you're getting there, and I'm like, I cannot, I need help, I need a doctor, I need something. So a doctor came in, was speaking to me about these different options. I was like, I want a C-section, I want like help now, because it was getting very intense for me. So he came in and he was trying to help me push and stuff. No one was really listening to my C-section idea at all at this point. So he came in because I think they was trying to figure out why she wasn't coming down, because I was obviously pushing everything as if I was ready, as if she was ready to come, but she just wasn't coming. So they wanted to see what position she was in, how, you know, far along and stuff I was. So he was like giving me like an ultrasound as I was in labour, and it was very difficult because obviously I'm like pushing and like really struggling and stuff, and he's trying to scan me, and it was just impossible because it was coming like less than a minute at this point, my contractions. So when they did the ultrasound, I think she was facing the wrong way or something, which made it very hard for her to like come down, and that's obviously what was causing the, you know, prolonging of this pushing and stuff. So that happened, and I said, you know, I want help now. So an anaesthetist came in, doctor came in with like paperwork and stuff, telling me like all these things, and was like, you need to sign this. So I'm like signing everything. The anaesthetist is literally reading away like loads of different things, like, you know, and I was like, yeah, whatever, I don't really care at this point. And then my husband was given the, you know, blue outfit to wear to go down, obviously for the C-section or whatever, or forceps or whatever they were going to do. And literally he told me, he turned around, and I was still pushing at this point because they wanted me to do it by myself without having to go down for an operation. And my husband said he literally turned around, he got given the clothes to go down for a C-section, he went into the toilet that was literally like facing me, and he turned around and her head was out, like I pushed her head out, and he said, no time, like the doctor was like, there's no time, she's coming. And literally within 2 more pushes or whatever it was, she was out. And oh, honestly, it just gives me goosebumps that I was able, honestly, I don't want to get emotional but it just makes me emotional that I was able to do that. Like, I would never in a million years, and I know there's probably people do it every single day without probably gassing out or anything, but for me, like my pain tolerance and stuff, to say I pushed her out just on gas and air is just crazy to me, honestly. Compared to my first, it's just madness. I was on gas and air, epidural and everything with my first, but this time, you know, it was sort of taken out my hands, and, you know, I suppose your body just takes over. And yeah, she was there. She was placed onto my chest straight away, which was amazing because I didn't get that with my little boy. I was just in so much shock that I actually did it. Yeah, she was born at 21:45, 9:15 at night. So it was literally only a few hours I was labouring for, which is absolute madness. And yeah, when they say the second time round is quicker birth-wise, this was definitely quicker for me. Not quicker pregnancy, but a quicker labour, so I'll take it. And yeah, it was just amazing. Honestly, looking back on it now and looking back at both births was just, it's madness how different pregnancies and labours and everything can be. It's just, you know, a really, really special thing to go through. So yeah, I'm really grateful that it was another very positive birth. However, the aftermath of my birth wasn't that positive. So obviously I had she was literally breastfeeding straight away. She was just like my little boy. Her latch and everything was amazing from the get-go. She was literally feeding for about 2 hours after she was born. She wouldn't let go. It was crazy. So yeah, so I was breastfeeding her and everything for, you know, that amount of time. And at this point I lost quite a bit of blood. I think it was like 1 litre or something in the end. And I honestly didn't feel the best. I felt fine mentally, and sort of physically, you know, there and stuff, but my energy and everything was not there at all. So they came around with, you know, toast and tea and everything like that, and this time I was really able to enjoy it, because last time with the epidural I was just so sick. But because you are sort of pushed to try and get up, go to the toilet and stuff after you've given birth, before you leave the hospital and stuff, because I was like, oh, when can I leave? I was really eager to go home and just be, you know, at home and stuff. So she was like, yeah, you can go home in about 2-3 hours, because, you know, you've already been here for about 2 hours, like feeding and stuff, so you can probably go home quite soon. So I tried to get up at about 11:30ish, I think it was, maybe just after, and I sat on the side of the bed and I literally vomited everywhere. Even like all of my husband's new trainers and everything, and he was really like pissed off about that. But yeah, I was sick. I was so dizzy and just really shaky, just even sitting up like this, and I just couldn't move. I couldn't get up to go to the toilet or anything. By the way, I did have stitches. I think it was the same thing. I think it was a 2nd degree tear again. But that was all fine. Like I didn't mind it at all. Like it wasn't the problem this time around. It felt pretty comfortable to sit down and everything, which was really surprising, to be honest, because the first time around I found it very uncomfortable for quite a long time actually. But yeah, this time it was my energy and my blood levels that was causing a lot of the problems. So I tried to get up again, and I was passing out. I had to lay back down the bed. There was, you know, nurses and stuff coming in, because midwives and stuff coming in, sorry. And I was just trying to drink lots and lots of water. So I left it about half an hour. I tried to get up again to go try and do a wee sample, because I always want a wee sample. And yeah, me and my husband, so I was holding on to my husband, we got into like the bathroom and stuff, managed to sit down in the toilet, and even just being sat down, my head was just going. It was horrible. I cannot even tell you. So I pulled the emergency button before I literally passed out, and I think there was about 4 or 5 ladies that came into the room before I fully went. And then the next time I came round, I was laid back on the bed, because I just couldn't stand up. I couldn't sit up, I couldn't stand up. I had to be literally laid down. So that was really scary, to be honest. And she said, you know, maybe just stay in until visiting hours are reopen again at 8 o'clock, and then, you know, see how you feel, and then, you know, you can go home then. So to be honest, I was a bit annoyed about staying in, because I really did just want to go home. I'm not a person to want to stay in a hospital or anything. I just want to be in my own bed and everything and just get settled. But I thought, no, you know, it's nice to stay in and, you know, just have that time with your baby and stuff. So I thought, you know, I will stay, and, you know, if I need any help or any medication or anything, then at least I'm in, you know, the right place. So stayed in, went down to the postnatal ward, and then until the following morning. So yeah, very, very scary, but yeah, it took me quite a few days. I think it took me a week actually, to get over the blood loss and everything. I was quite energyless, to say the least. But yeah, that is my birth story. I hope I've not missed anything out. I'm not gonna go into what happened the day that I was being discharged. It was a bit of a mix-up and everything, to be honest, with the hospital. But yeah, that's a story for another day, guys. We don't have time for that. I've already been recording this for like 35 minutes now. But yeah, I will go get my little girl now and introduce you to her. I can't believe she's still asleep, to be honest. Let me go get her. So this is my little girl, Bella. She was £8 and 5 ounces. She is fully breastfeeding, which is amazing. Honestly, she's so big now for 4 weeks. Oh my god. She feeds so good, honestly. Look at that fish. Oh my goodness. She's so beautiful. Oh my god. So yeah, when we went for the first midwife checkup at 5 days old, she weighed £8.10, which was crazy, to be honest. But it was the same my little boy. He put on weight as well after a few days. So she's just so beautiful. But yeah, that is my birth story, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you are expecting, then these are the type of videos not to watch. No, it's always fun and interesting to see how everyone's labour stories are, and how, you know, things happen in, you know, each pregnancy, you know, first time round, second time round. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for my next video, because I'm going to record hopefully another video now with the next sale haul. I got quite a few bits for my little boy and my little girl, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to record that next, hopefully. And yeah, until the next time, guys,